I'm still enjoying to be at work 7 days a week. I don't have a problem with that.
7 days a week?
Yeah, I mean I work every day.
Why?
Zonza.
Aibo, when do you get to rest?
Only when I feel like.
When I say brewmaster, what comes to mind?
Alcohol.
I don't know, brewing policies, just to make sure that whatever you're brewing has the correct percentage of alcohol.
Parties.
I think it's the sorghum. I don't know what it. Yeah.
These are people who love to be in the lab concocting something potent.
Fun.
Welcome back to another episode of Nothing Works But the People, a podcast about work and working people in South Africa. I'm your host, Pheladi Sethusa. Today, one of my favorite things is up for discussion: beer, or rather the people who make beer, brewmasters. One brewmaster in particular, the brewmaster, if you ask me. In this episode, I break away from the structure you've come to know. Usually, two different people who do the same thing capture and keep your attention for our 30-minute stage. But the plot was so thick, or rather the foam so frothy, that a solo brewer is the object of our undivided attention. When Thokozani Sithole opens the doors of Jozi Gold Brewery, it's a quiet Sunday morning in Braamfontein, and it's just a handful of staff, him and I on the premises. What's your agenda for the day?
I'm a walk-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have any admin in the brewery?
On the admin that I'll do is to taste the beer. If it is still fine, we'll give you a report. Yeah, that's all.
How often do you have to do that, the tasting, to make sure that things are okay? Every day? Once a day?
Once a day,
Okay.
supposedly. In fact, twice a day. In the morning, in the middle of the day.
Okay. And you can taste when something's off?
Yes.
Really?
Like this.
What leads to that, something being off? Is it time? Is it where you're storing it? What can impact that?
It can be time. Because the longer you keep the beer, it slowly loses its profile. Since the beer that we are making is craft, and we don't pasteurize. It is more like a fresh milk. You know how is it like when we store the fresh milk? That's why we got this so-called don't break the cold chain, keep it cold at all times, just to make sure that you also extend the shelf life as well. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens if there's like load shedding and the cold chain is broken that way?
We are lucky enough because we do have a backup generator. When the power goes, in a space of 2 seconds, it kicks in. When it comes back, it also kicks off. So, unless we run out of money to buy diesel, it will be a problem. Yeah.
The brewery has only been operational for a few short months.
I saw an advertisement that, there's a brewery opening in Braamfontein, Johannesburg. I was in KZN by then. I saw it was advertised in one of the groups, WhatsApp group that I'm in, that is called the Brewing Forum. So I took the email address, I sent my CV. After 3 months, they called me.
3 months?
3 months, they called me. Because I even forgot that I even sent a CV to this place because it has been a long time, because I've been hunting in different places. Then they called me, I came, they interviewed me, I left. After a month, they called me again. They said I must come and complete the interview. I came, I met the people who were interviewing me. We had a conversation. In fact, it was just a conversation, not even an interview, just a general conversation. Then, when I was about to leave, the CEO, Nadia, came with a bag. It was full of, it was a gold uniform. Then she gave it to me, said, "Welcome to Josie Gold team." So we truly believe that the person that we see on the CV and the person that we see right now is the person that we are looking for. So we are now waiting we are waiting to see if you are this person when it comes to real action. I didn't have a problem when it comes to that because I knew that everything that I touch when it comes to alcohol, I'm the best.
You're the best.
I'm the best.
Okay.
I'm the best. So I didn't have a problem. You know, it was very exciting. On the other hand, it was very frustrating because I have to leave my family in KwaZulu-Natal and come back and stay by myself here. Josie Gold is old. Forget that we only opened last year. It was born in 2013. So they had their original recipes. We all got different tasting, different palates, but I said I would love to tweak them a bit to be as close as possible to what people are familiar with, those commercial beers and stuff. Since we are craft, a lot of people, they don't understand craft, but we mustn't divert a lot from the beers that they are familiar with. So the beer that I'm making here, one, from the original recipe, I tweaked it to be the beer that can be a unisex beer, that even the women can drink, even those people who don't drink beer can be able to be accommodated with it. It's not too bitter, it's not too sweet. If you're a beer drinker, or if you know the beer is always beer. That it must have that beer smell, that bitterness of the beer, but not too bitter, not too much of an aroma, but it must be malty as well. So I've managed to introduce a lot of different people who came here and said, "I'm looking for a one," said, "Try the beer. I need a cider, can I have this kind of a cider? Can you try our sweet beer, the cherry ale or the pineapple ale? Or forget about the cider that I've asked for. Can I order this?" So I try by all means to accommodate people to be able to drink beer so that we can be able to expand this craft beer industry. Because we have to train people first about the importance of drinking the craft. The craft is more like the fresh milk, the milk from the cow that you consume immediately. No preservatives, no chemicals added. It's the very same thing that we are producing.
So it's an old recipe with some of your unique touches.
Yes, there are some that I've introduced. Because I came here, they had 4 recipes, but I've already introduced 2 that are also flying. In fact, I've introduced 3 because they had 4. I introduced 2. I've recently introduced another one a month ago, of which is a pineapple.
Working at such a new establishment means his title as a brewmaster is much more expansive than it should be at the moment.
I do everything.
You do everything?
I do everything.
Hey, Vana. So you're front of house, back of house?
When you come, I meet you, I greet you, offer you a seat, I offer you menus.
Yes.
I clear tables, I sweep.
Okay.
Led by example. This company is still young.
Yeah.
So if you are going to fight over positions, we are not going to go anywhere. So it's so important for us that we as leaders, we show the ones that are still coming behind us that anything is possible. Doesn't matter who you are administrator, like she's an administrator, but she doesn't have a problem to be waitering and stuff. Sure. You will find me sweeping. That's what I used to do. If there's an event, moving tables around, sweeping and stuff, lead by example, so that people must know that anything is possible. And I know how to do what and how long does it take. When I say, they've taken so long to wipe the table, it takes only 3 seconds. When you're taking a minute, no. So that's why they must know, I know everything, every corner here.
As Thokozani heads behind the bar to grab his first taster, He offers me a glass. I politely decline as it's about 10:30 in the morning.
What do you have on tap at the minute?
I've got lager, cherry ale, pale ale, basmati rice lager, sorghum golden ale, and the stage 8, the dark lager.
Okay. You don't have your pineapple one?
The pineapple is on that one.
I'd love to taste the pineapple.
Okay. Let me know once you're ready.
Okay. What are you having?
I'm having the lager.
Is that your favorite?
That's my favorite.
Okay.
That's my favorite. On the days like this.
From the bar, we take a few short steps to the brew house.
This is very scary looking machinery.
If you can be around using this one, if you hear it for the first time, you'll run away.
Really?
Because it is using pressure. I'm using this is called the cake washer and the cake filler as well.
Okay.
It's 2 in 1. I can wash cakes only, I can wash cakes, then fill.
So is it like a pressure wash?
Pressure. Because it uses compressed air, goes down. When it's releasing that pressure, once it is done, again. So you'll be very, very scared when you hear it for the first time. It took me about a month to convince this guy it is not dangerous. It's the way it is supposed to be.
Oh, were they scared of it?
They were scared at first. I have your coffee.
Okay, sure.
I have my second beer.
Thank you.
Thokozani has been brewing for 19 years and counting, but it was never part of the plan. The army, farming, and cash in transit security all came before his brewing career.
It all came up as a mistake. This is how my journey started. After finishing my matric in 1995, I didn't have money to go to the college or to the university. But while I was still finishing my matric, I was applying in different places. But lucky enough, I got an invite to become, to be a part of the people who would be taken in to be soldiers. And the day came, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how am I going to get there, because I had to take about 2 taxis. I didn't have even a cent. To be honest with you, I'm from the poorest family. My background is from the poorest family. My father was a tractor driver in the farm. My mother was milking the cow in the farm. So I grew up from the farm. The background is... So I didn't have a chance.
And this is in KwaZulu-Natal?
KwaZulu-Natal.
Where specifically?
Balgowen. Even the farm that I was staying in was called Old Balgowen Farm. So for those who know Balgowen, it is where I grew up, or where I was born. It's close to one of the famous schools that is called Michael House. It used to be a walking distance to me. I used to play soccer there, I used to play rugby there. So I was staying in that as close as possible. That it was enough to Michael House school. So I went to the owner of the farm and told her that here's the letter confirming that I must go to the Natal Command. There's an intake. So the intake is tomorrow. I don't have money. Then we went to speak to the guy by the name of Shane. He was the manager at the farm. He said, please take this guy to Natal Command. Then I took my bag. The following day, Shane took me to Natal Command. When we get there, checking the bag. There's no ID. I have to come back. The guys have to leave me behind. There was no second chance. I had no option. I think twice, because I was already a parent by then. I already had 3 kids when I finished my matric, unfortunately. So I said, I cannot sit there, look at my kids starving, but I cannot do crime. Then I said, okay, there are farmers, there are farms around, let me go and look for something. Look around, woke up on the other day, go to one of the farm, looking for a job. They took me. They gave me the brush cutter to start cutting the grass and stuff. The guy who was owning that farm where I was working, he used to build houses in different places in KwaZulu-Natal. He's a well-known guy. And he had an idea that he wanted to start the egg farm. He brought 2 guys from Hillcrest who were working for him to come and build those shacks for to grow the chicken so that it can be able to produce eggs. I was invited to assist them. I didn't know anything about the construction. I was just mixing dagger as if I'm doing those mud houses at home. But they groomed me. We worked out. So today that guy is a well-known egg producer. So I worked with those guys. They assisted me to understand the construction and stuff. I managed to start by laying the bricks, doing the carpentry, doing the roof. By then, it was a big job for me, since I'm not a tough guy. So lifting up those bricks was very tiring. So the small money that I was getting, little bit I was giving to the kids, little bit I was doing security. I did security. There is this so-called EDC, in security industry. I did those 3 courses. Then I managed to get the job. I did security as a guard, as an armed responder. Then I said, it's still not enough. I did the CIT. CIT is cash in transit. Then I managed to get a job there. I worked for one of the companies. I left in 2001 after they shot me 3 times in 1 year. I said,
you were on the tracks?
Yeah, it is called cash in transit. Those were traveling, delivering money, collecting money from the shops, from the banks and stuff. So I was shot 3 times, but in different occasions. On the last
How long
time,
did you work that job?
about 2 years. About 2 years. I said, no. The 4th time I'll be dead. I left. Went back to the farm again. Look for another job.
Okay. So when you were doing the cash in transit, was the money a lot better than the money you were making on
Way
the farm?
too good, if I can be honest with you. Way too good.
Are you willing to say how good?
By that time, I was earning 10,000, of which
In the early 2000s, okay.
in the early 2000s, it was 10,000. It was a lot of money. Then I went back to the farm. Not the very same farm where I started to work, where I managed to get the job. They had a factory where they were manufacturing wine and the shoes as well. So I get the job there to be a gardener. I worked there as a gardener. It was very hurting because from 10,000 back to 1,100 a month. I also worked for a year as well there. The other day, the guy who was making the wine, because he was calling me sometimes, come and assist me here and there. The other day, he decided not to come because he used to take wine and say he's going to sell it and bring the money back, of which he was just taking the wine and drinking. So when the owner wants his money back, he just disappeared. So they were left stranded. So the owner said, you have been working with this guy for a little bit of some time. Can you? I said, yes. He said, try yourself. He asked me to do a small batch of 200 liters. Yeah, it's not easy to understand if the wine's going to be good on the early stages.
Make it yourself?
Yes, to start it from scratch. Because isn't that guy was training me how? Bring this is what we are adding at first, temperatures and stuff, so much of the wine, the grains and everything. He gave me a small one, but he can be able to test if the wine is going to be a good one once it is matured. So I managed to do that batch. It started to ferment. He came to test. He said, wow, you did very well. Keep it up. I said, thank you. I was happy that, I can be admired. But it was not enough for me. Some money,
So they didn't even up your salary?
They didn't up my salary. It was more like the guy was doing me a favor for hiring me.
He knew he had to figure out a way to get a little bit more money out of his newly acquired skill.
There was a shop there that was selling shoes. It was more like a small spaza-like thing. Selling shoes, fish, chips, even some beers. I saw a car driving in. I realized, this car is from one of the breweries. It was the very first brewery in KwaZulu-Natal, craft brewery, in KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, a craft. The guy was coming to deliver. I went straight to him. I greeted him. It's a local guy. I said, hey, you know what, my brother, I'm looking for a job. Yes, I'm working, but I'm looking for another job. I said, you know what? Last week, they fired the guy who was making the beer there because he said he will be brewing till late, but he finished early. He stole the car, go home with it. When he comes back, he rolled it. So they chased him. Run, go there. I went. I I said to the manager who was working there, I'm just going to the bank. I went there, I found the manager there, I explained my story. Then he said, okay, you are lucky enough because I'm looking for someone. Where do you say you are working? I told him where I was working, born in Africa. The place was called Born in Africa. Immediately he said, stand here, pick up the phone. He called them. Do you know TK? They said, yes, we know him. What is he doing there? He's the one who's making 1 year now. I said, okay, he's here looking for a job. Are they all, the person who answered, I said, if you have a job, give him a job. So he dropped the phone. He said to me, okay. They said, you're a good guy. When are you planning to start? I said, if you are saying you are going to have a job for me, even tomorrow. I said, no. Give them time to get someone. Because if I am allowing you to do that, you'll do it to me one day. So give them enough time, a month, I'll save your space.
But his new start was a hornet's nest.
But when I got there, it was a very sad story because it was a brewery, but they were running out of beer because they didn't manage to brew. Nobody knew what the problem was, and then that was 2013. Yes, it was 2013 by then. They didn't manage to do any beer. I came in, what am I coming to do here if you guys can't produce anything? Because on your first tank, where you mash in or you add all your ingredients, you have to sort them, then be able to drain them, drain the liquid, leave the grains behind. So they were unable to do that. All the grains that they were mixing, it just became a porridge. So there would be no liquid to come out. They called a lot of different experts, the master brewers that are well known even from big commercial breweries, but nobody managed to find the solution.
Was it the machinery? Was it how they made it?
I didn't know at first. But I said, let me take this initiative and see what can be the problem. Because I realized that there's only one place that they didn't check, the water supply. They are getting the water from the fountain. There is a fountain that is supplying the hotel. There's also a hotel there. And there's a reservoir that is supplying to the brewery. I took small samples from the fountain, took the sample from the fountain, took the sample from the hotel reservoir, and the one from that is supplying the brewery. I ran my samples, my test. I found out, from the fountain, the water is good for the water fountain to be better. Even the one that is supplying to the hotel, to be the hotel water. But the one that was supplying to the brewery, that's where the problem was. Then I opened the reservoir. It was scary to look inside to that thing. If I can say, the storage was good compared to that. So I went to the guy, the owner, said, can you do me a favor? And I can give you an assurance. Can you shut down the brewery and start cleaning? I promise you, you'll get up again. If I didn't manage, just fire me immediately. I said, let's clean up everything. Flush the beer lines, flush the tank, the fermenters, flush the water lines. Then we fill fresh water again. We did that for about a week. Then the following week, I said, I'm ready to start. Then he came after an hour to check, is there anything happening? Because it is where the problems are, just after an hour. After an hour, there's nothing to do. You have to dump everything. Then he came after an hour. I was starting to transfer, to separate liquid from the grains. He didn't say anything. There's the so-called a sight glass, where you can be able to see something going through the pipes. He only looked on that one, or he said, which stage are you now? I said, I'm on the separation stage. He said, okay. Then he looked on the side glass, he walked away. That part also allows you to take about an hour as well, to drain all the liquid. He came after an hour again. How far are you now? I said, I'm done with lautering, or that stage is called lautering, to separate the water from the grain. I said, I'm done with lautering. He said, are you kidding me? I said, no. He went to check on the next tank where we used to boil the solution. He opened the tank, everything is nice and clean. He failed to accommodate his feeling and everything. He hugged me immediately. He was more like a crazy guy, telling everyone I finally find the person who can save my brewery because I was about to close it down. So I would say that guy managed to open a lot of doors for me, because everything started work the way it was supposed to be up until today, still operating. But he managed to raise my salary, and he also managed to invite people to come and interview me and everything. So on the other hand, he was opening other doors for me to be well known, since I was just nobody. It is when I also started to take this brewing thing seriously. Then I said, okay, let me study for this one. Then I applied to one of the institute called IBD. It's an Institute of Brewing and Distilling.
He shows me some of the newspaper and magazine clippings as proof positive. The local fame, along with his newly earned qualifications, got him noticed up north.
Around about 2015, I was once approached by the guy who also had a dream to open his own brewery. He's also from KwaZulu-Natal, but he was based in Johannesburg. He approached me, said, hey, you know what, I wish I can open my own brewery, but I don't have a brewery as yet. I can get the funding, but I just need something for me to start. And I said, okay, I can do it for you, my brother. Then I did his first batch. Okay, do you have a recipe? He said, no. What beer would you like to have? Then he described the beer profile and stuff. I said, okay, I can do it for you. Then I did the 500 liters for him. I called him to come and taste. But when he gets there, from what he expected, it was more than that. He fell in love with the beer that I put. Then he said, big volume, 2,000 liters for me. By the time he was still busy building his brewery in Johannesburg. Yes, in 2015, I moved from KwaZulu-Natal to Johannesburg.
To join him?
To join him,
Okay.
because he also promised me reasonable money and to be a shareholder as well. It was very fascinating. So I had to leave and come to Johannesburg. I worked for him. Then 2019, the company was bought out by one of the giant breweries. I only worked 6 months for that giant company. I said, no, there's nothing to be proud of anymore.
I rightly guess the brewery in question, but he asks that we keep it between us. So I steer the conversation back to the matter of his shareholding.
When they sell the company to one of the big companies, there was nothing signed. So when it's the time for them to share something for me, they started to fight with each other. Then the other guy, who was the partner of the guy who bring me from that side, he said, you came up with him. I didn't sign anything with TK. So you give him from your share. So you also didn't give me anything. The other day, he invited me to his place. He brought his friends and stuff, was praising me about building him. Then I asked him, hey, my brother Manje, what's happening with my share? I'm working on it. It happened that I have to invest my money into Africa. So it is now in dollars. After a month, I can be able to request for it, and it can be converted into rands. I even went back to him. I said, my brother, I need to fix something. Can you give me something? I knew that I'm borrowing that money. I'm not going to return it. I'm not going to pay it back. Because he didn't. Then after working for 6 months with this giant big company, I was also approached by some guys.
And so he was poached again, but not a single red cent from his shareholding was ever received.
We had a proper agreement, everything was signed. 2019, 20, 21, 22, it is when we had to shut down the brewery. One, it was COVID, sales dropped.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, South Africa had strict lockdowns, which not only prohibited movement, but limited the sale and consumption of alcohol. a measure to reduce engaging in risky behaviors which could lead to the spread of the virus at a time when it was incurable. Sadly, in our country, trauma units are often filled with casualties that are alcohol-related. Stab wounds, head injuries, car crash victims, you name it. Researchers proved the move useful and led to, quote, a drastic reduction in emergency and trauma unit admissions, end quote. Studies place South Africa in the top 5 worldwide where alcohol consumption is concerned, and according to some medical research, 1 in 10 deaths in South Africa can be attributed to the abuse of alcohol. Bleak, I know. Less bleak, Thokozani's home base for brewing at the time didn't succumb to the financial pressures of the ban or the pandemic. But something else was brewing in the background.
I ask right now, we survived COVID, we can even survive this big load shedding. Can we buy a backup generator? He only replied to me in a very simple manner, no money. He said, no money. I said, how come? Because we've been trading since 2019 up until now. He said, no money. It is when we started to raise our eyes, no man, let's check something. Because we trusted the guy that he's doing everything and stuff. Because I was even checking sometime on the staff pay slips. Everything was going according. When I took this guy that I was a shareholder with, we went to check if he's paying tax or what. Only to find out he was not paying tax, was not paying UIF or anything. It was just the routine weights and numbers on the pay slips. Then we came back to him. He said, yeah, I forgot to pay. For all these years, you forgot to pay. Not knowing that by going there, we are igniting SARS to come and check up on us. SARS came. I'm not talking about thousands, I'm talking about millions that we are owing SARS. SARS froze everything. 2022, December. If I didn't have 10 rand that I saved, I was gonna stay because I didn't even get anything. No money, accounts were frozen. So I have to take the money that I saved, take everything that because I also had a house there. I have to sell some other items, I have to take whatever I can take, I have to hire a car to go back home. Then I went.
Battles at the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration over severance, and in higher courts over company shares and recipes followed, and are ongoing.
What a tumultuous story. Doesn't that break your spirit a little bit?
It does, but I will never ever say it's over until God says it's over. After being betrayed several times and stuff, in fact, it's a motivation.
And all those betrayals never made you want to leave the industry?
Never. Never ever. Never ever. In fact, they are making me grow. They are making me grow. I've learned that before you engage yourself onto something, point number 1, if there's no written document, do not enter. Number 2, love them all but trust no one.
The bar and restaurant are just one part of Josie Gold's offering.
Walk-ins also bring matures.
Okay.
Yeah. But the moment they see this, oh, I want to try on this 6 beers. Then we give them this, and I also give them a tour. After tasting, then we'll have to give you one of the beers that you like out of this beer flight.
How much is it tasting?
175, but if you want to do only the tasting, it's 100 rand.
And so I decide it's that time of the day and buy myself a beer tasting, which will culminate in a tour of the beer house or cold room downstairs.
Okay, start from the right, corner right.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lager. 4.5 alcohol volume.
Okay. That's good.
10. The IBU. Can you tell the IBU? Is it taste, bit, no bitterness?
It's not very bitter, but you can taste a slight
Bitterness.
kick, yeah.
Okay.
It's not overpowering smell-wise. Like that had a stronger smell.
Yes, yeah, that's a pale.
Craft beer brewing is distinct because of the way brewers can play around with ingredients, which influence flavors.
Am I meant to be smelling something? It's very aromatic.
From the basmati rice, like a
So do you infuse it with actual basmati rice?
In fact, I add rice as a part of the ingredients.
Really? How much rice?
A certain percentage.
A certain percent. Oh, okay. You don't want to give away the recipe. But I'm sure it's like a lot. No.
And so we go on through the other 6, namely the sorghum golden ale, the cherry beer, and the stage 8 dark lager.
It's a tribute to load shedding, stage 8, where everything was dark.
Nyama.
Yes, so it's just the name we gave it to it. On the recipe itself, I was making a dark lager.
So in terms of like naming the beers, do you get together as a team and brainstorm?
Yeah,
Or is it stuff that comes to you?
we sit down. What do you think? What name can we give to this beer here? Maybe someone's going to come with the name, someone's going to come with the name. So which one we can use? Or bind them together.
Speaking of teamwork, Togazani is working around the clock at the minute. But happily so, he says.
And I know it's still early, but would you say you're happy here?
I'm happy. I don't want to lie to you. The only thing that makes me happy, everything is in black and white. The agreements are there. I'm still enjoying to be at work 7 days a week. I don't have a problem with that.
7 days a week?
Yeah, I mean I work every day.
Why?
Zonza.
Aibo, when do you get to rest?
Only when I feel like.
But is that by agreement or just you can't keep away?
That's not an agreement. I mean, my working days is Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Kodwa ngenxa sisasebancane, and I also got an experience with the industry. So kubalulekile ukuthi hlezi ngikhona ngaso sonke isikhathi. Ngibuke lapha nalapha ya. And like I said, lead by example.
Unsurprisingly, the beer itself is his favorite part of the job.
Taster.
Okay.
Yeah, taste. Yeah, that's my
So you
favorite.
just love beer.
Yeah,
It's
I love
your
beer.
stuff.
Yeah, that's my stuff. I love beer. I don't want to lie to you. I mean, I'm not an office person. Share up on my laptop. Ngifika sengibuya ama-move. So ngifika sengibuya ama-move. Here and there, mhlawumbe makufuna okay, fanele ngi-order noma fanele ngenze follow up. Kuntweni engizi-odile, mhlawumbe sine-meeting lokhuzeni online noma kunezinto efanele ezincane engizenzile, checking emails and stuff, but I hate laptop. Mina nginika ispade, unginika isandi, unginika ispoon, ngizokwenzela. So that's me. Fana endlini ngiyaziphekela. Anandaba ukhona abantu ngasiphi isikhathi because ngiyathanda ukuba nje ngibeka phambi kwe-TV belokhuzana. That's not me.
So would you then say your least favorite part of the job is the admin that you have to do?
That's the least. That's the least I can say. That's the least. It's not even a list. Angifuni lento mina.
Do you, at this stage, feel more stable in your career, or is that something you don't even think about? You're just happy for the moment you have?
Everywhere I worked, I always tell myself, I think this is my last job. Then things turn around. This is my last job. So this is what I'm telling myself now. Forgetting that I'm old enough now to bounce around like a tennis ball. That's what I'm telling myself. This is my last job. If something went wrong, it would be me being unlucky. But I've never ever seen myself being here and there unless if God provided me with some money from heaven as a man, maybe get millions and be able to start my own business. So it is when I will say, yes, I will shift if I can a chance to open my own business. So in the meantime, I'm enjoying to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Your own business, would it be the same business or something else?
It will depend. This business is not an easy business, this one. Honestly, it's not an easy business. It can be a different business. It's a nice business to have once it has already started to ramp up, but to start this business is not an easy thing at all. You can have the establishment and everything, the equipment, but the liquor license, it's not easy to get. It's not easy to get. I don't know what's happening in South Africa. We have to know someone at a certain department, government department, if you want something to happen for people who are down there. You have to have contacts. So if you don't have contacts, you're stuffed. So that's a problem. I will look for something different, maybe something simple.
So to a young person who's maybe interested in the industry and being a brewmaster, what kind of advice would you give them?
If you want to become a brewmaster, you must have a big heart, because it happens sometimes. You are targeting for something, things don't go your way. You don't have to panic. Think about the solution. It's a very challenging job, this one. I don't want to know, it's a very challenging job. You get bent. You get tramped by the things that you'll be using. You fall. Measurements sometimes come the way you didn't expect. Know what can be the cause of what you are getting from what you are getting. The calculations are right, but the results are giving you something negative. It's a very challenging one.
Downstairs in the cold room, which is set to a precise 20 degrees Celsius, Thokozani demonstrates the more technical parts of his work. As he talks me through the process, I realize just how much water brewing requires.
And the worst thing, if we are renting the space, the first thing that you are fighting with your landlord, you know what is it? It's water. Because besides brewing 1,000 liters, it's water. The water that we use to clean, it's a lot. So if you can see the bill of water, your landlord will fight with you today. What do you think they're doing? So it's one of the things that is challenging when it comes to brewing, or to have a brewer, water itself and electricity as well.
And considering that amount of water, there's no way to work around it. You need that water.
You need that water because you cannot use any water to brew. That's why we are here using the municipality water, but they are not suitable for brewing. We have to install the reverse osmosis, filtered water. The water that is good is better than the water that we are buying from the shop. That's the water we are using here to brew.
There was this UN report about 2-3 weeks ago saying that we are reaching like a water crisis, where projected that in the next 20 years we'll have water scarcity at crisis level.
We are facing the crisis as we speak. Because I didn't know that. I don't know whether you know that the water that we are flushing, that's the very same water that they are now cleaning to the reservoirs, and we are drinking it. I've seen that happening in many different places, including the place where I come from. Where the water was just running into a certain dam. They come with those water tank trucks, scoop the water, go and serve the community. They will only add a certain chemical to kill the bacteria and stuff. We are facing the water crisis as we speak. I don't understand how, because KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, you had floods, but where is that water going to?
Another concern of his is artificial intelligence. and the potential for it to displace human labor very soon.
I'm concerned about that AI thing because it looks like it's going to take over a lot of different things. But for people who are still young, they should be very worried about that, because at the end of the day, there will be no one doing the physical thing. It's going to be the robots, the AI, and everything. That's what I'm worried about. I can see the AI, but when it comes to robot as well, because they're the one who are going to end up doing a human being's job. It's something that is already happening, that you sit down, maybe you find that there was 10 people doing 10 jobs, but a robot is doing a job for 10 people. I worked somewhere where I was not engaging myself at the brewery. I was sitting at the brew house, the brew office, punching only the screens. Everything there is ready. You press the button, the grains are going in. You press the button, the water is coming in. Then we are done with your brewing. Press the button, you send it to someone. It's the shy later, I go. That's what chased me away for the first time from the company that I worked at. I said I only work limited time. I mean, I'm a hands-on person from Botswana. I used to go out there just to do the sampling, only to take the sample. Other things, the grains are coming in on their own. The water, everything's on the screen here. You're sitting next to someone else is doing something else. So can you see, it didn't start today about the AIs and the robot. It started long time ago. So it is now starting to be serious. That's why the unemployment rate is going to spike. That's what I'm worried about. What our kids will do in 10 years to come, or 20. They'll be left with no job, of which is something that is already happening. Well-educated kids, they got no job. I don't know who's allowing this thing of AI or robots, but I think they said it makes things easy. But I don't know. If you manage to get the job, it's a job that you cannot do anything out of it. It's going to be the money from hand to mouth. So that is my problem that I'm facing. It is coming. And we're going to end up eating each other. You will say that, because there will be no food. You'll have no money to buy food. What are you going to do? You give birth, you eat your child. So it's getting there. It's getting there.
Scary.
It's very scary. It's very scary. We are lucky enough, Tina, because we are old, but I'm worried about the kids that we brought on earth. What is going to be their future?
And on that hopeful note, thank you for listening to another episode of Nothing Works But the People. I've run way over time on this one, so please see the show notes for our full credits, all our citations, extra reading, and how to contact us. Thank you so much. This has been the penultimate episode. Last one is coming at you next week.